Hi everyone, welcome to Legally Yours. I'm so incredibly excited today because I get to welcome a new channel partner to the Legally Yours community, and that is Alison and Bronwyn from Lacuna Legal. Thank you for joining us, Alison and Bronwyn.
Thank you, Karen. We're really excited about this opportunity and looking forward to working with you and your lawyers.
Oh, me too. So Alison, I might start with you. Talk me through your journey in the law and how you kind of got to meet Bronwyn and start Lacuna Legal. Let's go with that.
Thanks, Karen. Well, I am a lawyer by trade, long history in the law. So I spent 18 years as a partner at Minter Ellison, and I left there in 2018, and I took up a position as a commissioner at the Australian Energy Market Commission. But I met Bron at Minters, so we had about, I think, 5 years together at Minters. Bron was providing support to our team. So we had a good time working together there. And we had a lot of shared experiences, I guess. We were at a very similar stage in our lives in terms of kids and work and even our backgrounds. We're both country girls, so we had very good times together. And we used to go into each other's offices and sort of swap stories and, have a bit of a whinge together, as often people did. But we kept coming back to the same idea of the people that we knew being stretched in the law. So there were many lawyers that were very busy, some of them quite unhappy with their work, and we thought there must be a better way for lawyers to do what it is that they want to do. And we saw lots of good people that we knew leaving the law, and they very rarely came back because it was just too taxing for them. They were stretched too far. It was just too much. So we sort of got our heads together and thought that there's got to be a better way of lawyers doing what it is that they like to do. And so that was really the genesis of Lacuna for us.
I absolutely love it. I'm going to stop you there and then head over to Bronwyn. So Bronwyn, talk me through, before we get to the actual formation and what Lacuna Legal is all about, talk me through your journey in the law and perhaps even a little bit about maybe some of the frustrations or some of the challenges that you came up against when you were practicing as a lawyer.
Well, Karen, I actually started my life as a music teacher, so I fell into law quite by accident, I have to say. And I first worked as a secretary in a law firm, and then I decided that I might be interested in studying, so I went back and I studied part-time while I did my articles. It was back in those days so I had a 6-year period doing my articles and working. First in smaller firms on the Sunshine Coast, and then eventually I moved to Brisbane, where I worked for one of the large firms there. Graduated, was admitted, and within 6 months I'd packed my bags and headed off to do a 6-month secondment in Hong Kong.
Wow. Okay, all right.
Working as a lawyer. And during that 6-month period, I actually met my husband. And so I decided to stay in Hong Kong. So 6 months became about 13 years, I think, and 3 children. So when I was I worked as a lawyer both in-house at the International Finance Corporation, which is the private lending arm of the World Bank, and also in some of the larger firms. But when I was having my first child, I decided that the hours didn't really work well with becoming a mum.
Yes.
I decided to do something else, and I moved into business development and practice management in one of the large law firms, looking after their finance practice across Asia. Okay. I loved it. I loved moving into that management side and understanding how law firms work, how law firms make money, the importance of clients. And so over the course of about 7 years, I ended up running the team across Asia for the business development and marketing function. So that was an extraordinary time, great time. We worked through the financial crisis. We saw highs and lows, and I worked with amazing people and had a fabulous time. And then we came back to Australia in 2012, which is when I landed at Minters and worked with Alison.
Yes.
And I guess that probably opened my eyes quite a bit, that change just coming back to Australia, because of course I tell people that I'd had 2 wives in Hong Kong. So although I had worked very hard, I had 2 fabulous ladies who lived with us and ran my house for me. Never thought about it. So there was a big crash landing when we came back to Australia. And of course I thought it was just me that was finding it hard to feed children 3 times a day and hold down a full-time job. But I discovered it wasn't, that there were a lot of people who were finding that challenge hard. And I think that, finding a better way with Alison, when we talked about that, we realised it's not forever. Like, this is a season of our lives. And if we could help people maintain a practice, maintain clients, and maintain currency through the different stages of their lives, and they could come back and they'd have negotiating power when they did, if they did want to go back to a firm, or if they wanted to do in-house. So that was sort of where the idea started.
And I absolutely love it, because the story that both of you were telling is the story of where, the best kind of businesses come out of. It's through your own personal experience, your own observations, and really having a deep understanding about, what now your potential customers are really looking for. And, the experience that both of you have talked about in private practice or in law firms, and this sort of, particularly, and it does fall mainly with women, and having to balance and juggle. And I think for a long time, there was an attitude within the legal industry that we just had to put up with it, and we had to really sometimes pretend we didn't have a family, and that, it was the job that came first. But like you say, it's a moment in our lives, and a lot of us want to have a whole life balance. So that leads me on to talk me through then what is the mission and the philosophy of Lacuna Legal, and how are you helping these lawyers be able to have a whole life balance?
In really practical terms, Lacuna is about providing physical services for people. So the sort of back office services that you would get in a law firm, but provided for people who want to work out on their own or in very small practices. So instead of having to do a lot of that physical work yourself and that taking up a lot of time in your day, we're looking to replace those services. So bookkeeping, some help with PA, access to research clerks, some support with business development and collateral like that. So that's the very physical side of it. But in concept, it's really about sort of giving people time back in their lives, whether they want to invest that more in their clients and growing the business, or other aspects of their lives, their family, or, if they've got sort of other interests in pursuit. So the conceptual side is really freeing people up to practice law in a different way, and also to give them a sense of community, because that is a big part of practicing law. We strangely, many lawyers are introverts, but they really do like the sense of community that they get in a law firm. And so a big part of Lacuna is about providing that community as well, someone that you can have a chat to, you can bounce your ideas off, you can come in and see when we're not all in lockdown in pandemic
Yes.
terms, but that's a big part of it for us too.
And I think it's such a beautiful idea, because you're 100% right. I think a lot of that I hear is a lot of fear around people who might want to leave their private practice or in-house role and start their own firm, but there's a lot of fear because they are so well supported in their roles. And so, a lot of lawyers are very good at the practice of law, but perhaps don't really understand the actual running of a business of law. So that's where I really see where Lacuna can kind of bridge that gap and give them that surety to they can hit the ground running. They're not sort of starting from, complete scratch on their own and having to kind of write in Facebook groups, what are you using? What are you using? It's actually you're coming in and they've got that service provider. And like you say, also that real community as well and network. So Bronwyn, did you want to add anything to that? Because I just think it's such an amazing idea.
Yeah, well, I guess we sort of spent the first 12 months really finessing the idea before we launched, which was in March last year, and testing out products and working out what worked for lawyers, what they need, what they don't need. There was sort of a lot of time invested in that to understand what would work best for lawyers. And as a result of that, we can help people right from the stage where they want to come out and set up. We can help them from the setup stage. We can also help the more established firms if there are pieces of work that they would like help with. We can come in and we can do that on a long-term project or just a short-term project. There's some firms we've worked with for 1 month just to help them turn something around. So we're very flexible in the services that we do provide.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, yes, go on.
Bron, I might add to that we did find that people are quite sort of idiosyncratic in their needs as well. So initially we thought that we might sort of have, one sort of consistent service offering. But it turned out that people wanted very different things. They were at different stages and had very different needs. So, you know, that was a learning for us.
Yes. Oh, I absolutely love it. So you've done the research and you can actually customize in you know, in relation to every individual's needs, which I think is just brilliant. Well, we will do another video, so stay tuned on how the process works and everything that's involved and get more into a deep dive into Lacuna Legal. But for now, I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Alison and Bronwyn. I'm so excited to have you as part of our community. And I'm so excited to be able to talk about the brilliant service that you've got with Lacuna Legal. So thank you for joining me, and thank you everyone for watching. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.